Today's news highlights. Date March 3, 2025. News highlights: the World Baseball Classic qualifying tournament ended, and the Chinese team was fined $20,000 by the major leagues for illegal use of electronic devices. The Chinese professional baseball confirmed that there are personnel who use mobile phones in the office for violations, and the fine will be borne by the alliance, and promised to strengthen education and improvement. In order to ensure fairness, the use of electronic devices in the rest area is strictly restricted, and the broadcast of the broadcast screen is delayed. News highlights: U.S. President Donald Trump announced the establishment of the U.S. cryptocurrency reserve on the social platform X, including BTC, ETH, XRP, Sol, and ADA into the strategic reserve, promoting the United States to become a cryptocurrency center. Following the news, the price of Bitcoin and a number of cryptocurrencies soared. Trump has criticized cryptocurrencies in the past and has recently reversed his stance and will host a White House crypto summit. The move has sparked support and skepticism, with some people worrying about regulatory risks and others believing that it will promote the development of the industry. News highlights: Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and U.S. President Donald Trump erupted in a verbal spat at the White House, leading to tensions between the U.S. and Ukraine, with Ukrainians worried about the prospects for U.S. aid. The people of Kyiv and Kharkiv are dissatisfied with Trump's attitude, believing that the United States does not really understand the war situation and fearing that Ukraine will be controlled by power. Some people hope that European allies will strengthen their support, while Ukrainian media believe that Zelensky has shown determination to defend his sovereignty. News highlights: Japan's Yonaguni Island is accelerating and may become a front line for conflicts in the Taiwan Strait. Radar stations, SDF camps, and PAC-3 missiles have been deployed on the island, and there are plans to increase the number of missile units and expand the airfield. Residents are divided, with supporters arguing that it will help security and the economy, while opponents fear environmental damage and being targeted. China's military activities have heightened unease, and some fishermen are particularly wary of the PLA's movements. Officials on the island have pushed for military intensification, but there are also voices calling for the government to prioritize improving people's livelihoods. News highlights: U.S. President Donald Trump pressured TSMC to take over Intel, causing concern. 4 former directors of Intel jointly wrote an article opposing it, arguing that the move would weaken the U.S. semiconductor industry and emphasizing that key technologies would remain in Taiwan and go against U.S. interests. They suggested that the United States should help Intel reform instead of relying on TSMC, and proposed that Intel be split into design and manufacturing businesses, and only Western investors should be allowed to take over, in order to maintain the competitiveness of American semiconductors. News highlights: in the first game of Group B of the 2026 World Baseball Classic qualifying tournament, the Chinese team's pitchers performed poorly, sending 13 escorts, and finally lost to Germany 2-12 and lost in 7 games. The Chinese team scored 1 point in the first game, and the first 3 games were 2-2 with Germany, but then failed to score many points in the first 3 games. The German team took advantage of the Chinese pitcher's escort and defensive errors to gradually expand the lead, and even scored 6 points in the 7th inning to end the game early. German starting pitcher Solbach scored 2 points in 6.2 innings to win the game. News highlights: musician Fang Datong died of illness at the age of 41, and his farewell ceremony was held in Dali, Yunnan. The agent confirmed the news, but did not respond to rumors on the internet, including claims about the cause of Fang Datong and the origami crane during treatment. The agent quoted the lyrics of "I am not a farmer," calling on the outside world not to spread false news, and hoped that everyone would miss Fang Datong with his music and creation. Fang Datong was last seen publicly in October 2024, attending Herbie Hancock's concert in Shanghai. News highlights: inspired by the sudden death of his friend Luo Peiying, Ho Dulan made a will in advance to ensure that there are no regrets in the distribution of property. He organizes more than 5 properties under his name and takes out insurance to protect the donor from tax issues. At the age of 60 this year, he has begun to prepare for retirement, and plans to experience life in various countries to avoid depression after losing his goals. He shows wisdom in preparing for a rainy day and reminds the public to plan ahead for life. News highlights: SN Plus Peak Dancer held a hip-hop flash mob event at the Rainbow Trail in Ximen on the 2nd, attracting hundreds of hip-hop enthusiasts to participate. Li Kongsheng appeared at the event and revealed that due to the influence of torticollis, he was unable to turn his head normally and needed to wear a neck brace for rehabilitation. Producer Zhang Ruiz shared that the purpose of the event is to make hip-hop dance more attention and announced that he is already preparing for a 2nd season. Program judges Nike and Kim Yang also appeared and shared their dances and future plans. The event was also accompanied by Zhang Ruiz's wife Huang Miejun, and talked about the hard work of street dance. News highlights: after experiencing the turmoil of the past, FanWiki decided to start anew and start a tour in the mainland. Tickets for the first concert in Shanghai ranged from 380 yuan to 1,380 yuan, and the lowest ticket prices were quickly sold out, but it was later discovered that some tickets were locked, causing many audiences to feel that they were too expensive to buy, and they had no choice but to face a 20.6% refund fee. In addition, although a large number of fans expressed concern, some ticket prices were still not sold out, and the box office performance was not as expected. The outside world has not stopped gossiping about her, and she has also issued a lawyer's statement, emphasizing that she will defend her rights through the law. News highlights: Yeahua Pharmaceutical, 6,446, turned profitable for the first time last year, with EPS reaching a new high of 8.96 yuan, and plans to apply for 4 private placement listings, which can be listed in the second quarter at the earliest. According to the regulations on private placement to public offering, Yeahua Pharmaceutical meets the requirements and is expected to be released from trading. The private placement raised a total of about 6.616 billion yuan, and the subscription prices were 86 yuan to 250 yuan respectively. At the current price of 636 yuan, the first round of private equity shareholders can earn about 550,000 yuan, and others such as Zhang Juning, Zhang Sushan, and others will also benefit. Yeahua Pharmaceutical expects to apply for more private equity listings after its financial results in the first quarter of this year. News highlights: Intel recently announced that its 2 fabs in Ohio, USA, will be delayed to 2030, 5 years behind schedule. Intel invested $28 billion in 2022 to regain its semiconductor manufacturing strength in the United States, but the construction of the factory has slowed due to sluggish market demand. Intel lost $18.8 billion last year, a far cry from the previous year's net profit, and as a result, it laid off 15,000 employees and postponed several factory construction plans. In addition, plans to build factories in Germany, Poland, and Malaysia have been postponed. News highlights: Trump's recent response to the no comment in a cabinet meeting on whether to prevent the CCP from encroaching on Taiwan has sparked heated public opinion, and some people are worried that he will give up defending Taiwan. The CCP uses the media to spread the theory of doubting Sichuan and the theory of abandoning Taiwan in an attempt to create panic. Commentators believe that Taiwan should strengthen its own strength, enhance its value in defense, semiconductors, and geopolitics, and enlist more concrete U.S. support. At the same time, Trump's imposition of tariffs on Chinese imports may make Taiwan a more dependent partner of the United States, but it also faces pressure from the Chinese Communist Party. News highlights: On March 2, British Prime Minister Starmer convened a summit in London, and European leaders reached a 4-point consensus to draft a peace plan for Ukraine and submit it to the United States. The consensus includes continuing military aid to Ukraine, ensuring Ukraine's sovereignty, security, and participation in peace negotiations, and building a coalition of wills to defend Ukraine. EU President Ursula von der Leyen plans to propose a defense enhancement plan to rearm Europe. Starmer stressed the need for Europe to cooperate with the United States and provide support to Ukraine to ensure European stability and security. News highlights: On March 1, the 106th anniversary of South Korea's March 1 independence movement, more than 100,000 people rallied against the impeachment of President Yoon Suk-yeol, and a growing number of South Korean university students joined the ranks. The National Union of University Students held a rally in Dahakro, Seoul, to express its sense of crisis over the current government, media, and judiciary. More than 120,000 people also attended rallies in support of Yoon Suk-yeol in the Gwangae-Wamun and Yudo areas of Il-Gwangae-Wamun and Yudo, in stark contrast to those who supported impeachment. The commemoration of the March 1 movement was aimed at consolidating national unity and promoting patriotism. News highlights: By the end of 2024, the number of accounts opened in Taiwan's stock market will reach 12.98 million, and ETFs have become the most popular choice for the whole people. According to the generation analysis, the return rate of Generation X is as high as 53.14%, mainly holding TSMC and Hon Hai. Gen Z prefers growth stocks and ETFs and pursues high returns. Gen Y has a balanced allocation of growth stocks and high-dividend ETFs. Baby boomers and silent generations prefer solid blue-chip stocks and high-dividend stocks. Regardless of generation, investors should regularly review and adjust their investment strategies to respond to future market changes. News highlights: This year, a number of companies in Taiwan have announced stock split plans, including high-priced stocks such as Kangpay and Century Minsheng, which will be split, driving a market investment boom. Technology and traditional property stocks such as Palladium and Materials KY are also considering splitting stocks to improve liquidity and lower the investment threshold. Kangpay's share price surged after the successful drug development, with a market capitalization of nearly $144.3 billion, and plans to reduce the PAR value to 50 cents per share. Century Minsheng plans to carry out a 20-split stock split, which is expected to be completed by the end of March. News highlights: Under the uncertainty of the inflation outlook in the United States and the impact of Trump's tariffs, banks have extended the US dollar fixed deposit discount to provide people with funds to plan their whereabouts. In the future, banks will offer 1-month 10% PA interest rate concessions. Standard Chartered Bank will launch a 7-day USD fixed deposit program of 8.88% and 3-month 5.18%. Federal Bank will have a 1-month 8% discount. Yuanta Bank will have a 3-month term of 4.8% and a 6-month term of 4.3%. and China CITIC Bank will provide a maximum of 7% of the 14-day US dollar fixed deposit to help investors find the best investment opportunities in the midst of interest rate fluctuations. News highlights the White House's acceleration of the Stargate project with a total investment of up to $500 billion will be the key to Hanwha's 2,317 performance growth this year. The plan will provide strong support for AI infrastructure in the United States, and plans to build data centers in Texas and other places. Hanwha is almost certain to monopolize AI server OEM orders, in line with Trump's Made in America policy. Hanwha is actively expanding its manufacturing capabilities in the US and plans to produce servers in Houston, which is expected to open in 2026, further strengthening its presence in the US. News highlights the critical elderly reconstruction time medal will end on May 12 this year and is expected to spark a spree of applications in the last 2 months. From the launch of the regulations to the end of last year, the number of approved cases in Taiwan has exceeded 4,000, and the 6 cities have applied for the most. The original 10% of the time medal is decreasing year by year, and only 1% is left in the last wave, and the time award will no longer be enjoyed after the deadline. In the future, it will be replaced by scale awards, and there will be a number of awards such as intelligent buildings and earthquake-resistant design, but the sum shall not exceed 40% of the benchmark volume. News highlights Liu Taiying, the founder of the Taiwan Research Institute, is 90 years old and still cares about financial affairs inside and outside the island. He warned that US President Donald Trump's trade policies could trigger World War III and stressed that TSMC remains Taiwan's protector. Looking back, he pointed out that a bold investment in TSMC has contributed to its success, and suggested that it is calm and progressive in the face of pressure. In addition, Liu Taiying lamented that the government did not continue to support the biotechnology industry, and was optimistic that AI-boosted Taiwan stocks are expected to break through the 30,000 point mark. News highlights the 97th Academy Awards were held at the Dolby Theater in Los Angeles, and the film Bright Woman's Dream led the way with 13 nominations, and finally Zoe Saldana won the Best Supporting Actress award. Killen King won the Best Supporting Actor award for his first shortlist. He thanked his wife for her support and humorously said that if he won the award, he would have a 4th child. In other awards, Enola won Best Original Screenplay, Best Adapted Screenplay went to The Conclave, Best Animated Feature Film went to Meow's Drifting and Best Visual Effects went to Dune, Part 2. News highlights Ye Chunlian, a retired teacher from Hualien, questioned Fu Kunking and accused him of being a gangster at a KMT commemoration, but was then violently pushed and forcibly driven away by staff. After the incident was exposed, it sparked condemnation from alumni and local politicians, who expressed their support for Ms. Yat, believing that she had dedicated her life to education and should not be treated unfairly because of her political stance. Some criticized Ms. Fu's harsh handling and accused the act of violating citizens' freedom of expression. News highlights the red carpet of the 97th Academy Awards debuted this morning, and many stars appeared to attract attention. Lisa, who made her Oscar debut this year, appeared in a black and white long-length suit by Chinese designer Mark Gong, which was neat but feminine. Alfani appeared in a white lace gown, like a princess on the run, and wore diamond jewelry to show her dreamy elegance. Ariana wore a Schiaparelli pink patchwork gown with a sculptural skirt and diamond jewelry. Cynthia Ilivo and Emma Stone also wore LV gowns, each with their own characteristics, and became the focus of the red carpet. News highlights after a netizen in Nantes scratched a 1,500 yuan scratch ticket, he shared the lottery ticket that did not cover the QR code barcode on Facebook, and was stolen by a new employee of the lottery bank to receive the bonus. After the incident, the employee and the store took the initiative to apologize and return the bonus, but the incident may involve theft, and the store is at risk of suspension. Taiwan Lottery stipulates that only paper winning tickets can be redeemed, and online sharing of uncovered barcodes will be rejected. News highlights Taiwanese fans asked Major League Taiwanese and American star Corbin Carroll at the Rattlesnake Spring Training Base if he would play in the 2026 Classic, and Carroll responded with a smile that it's a good question, causing concern. Carroll's father is an American and his mother is Taiwanese, and he once won the League of Nations Rookie King with his outstanding performance. Although he has not confirmed whether he will participate in the competition, he expressed his gratitude to the Taiwanese fans for their support and expressed his hope for the opportunity to visit Taiwan again. News highlights the Hualien County Party Department of the Kuomintang held a commemoration of Sun Yat-sen and Arbor Day, mobilizing nearly 2,000 people on the spot, but it evolved into a Fu Kunkin momentum rally. Ye Chunlian, a retired famous teacher, choked Fu Tong and bandits and forcibly left, triggering solidarity from netizens. Mr. Ye criticized Hualien's deterioration, questioned the fairness of the event, and worried about Taiwan's future. Fu Kunking said that he was suppressed, and his supporters shouted cheers. The incident sparked heated discussions in the Hualien community, with Mr. Yeba's students lamenting the change in the atmosphere of the town and questioning Fu Kunking's labeling of dissidents, triggering a blue-green controversy. News highlights Wu Kunjin, director of the Taichung City Land Bureau, was searched for false write-off of special fees, and paid bail of 1 million yuan, and his resignation was approved this morning. Deputy Director Liu Zhenglun only received a leave slip in the morning, and did not know that the director had resigned, but still attended the Municipal Council's Procedures Committee on behalf of the council. The city government released the news at 9:20 a.m., leaving the Lands Bureau employees stunned. At present, the candidate for the acting director has not yet been decided, and Liu Zhenglun stressed that the public servants will continue to perform their duties and will not be affected. News highlights the new labor retirement fund will make a profit of 698.97 billion yuan in 2024, and the Labor Insurance Bureau has completed the income distribution, which is revealed today in the special account for labor retirement. This time, 12.92 million households participated in the distribution. About 58% of the workers could get more than 20,000 yuan, and 36.2% more than 50,000 yuan, a new high. The Labor Insurance Bureau reminds that the income is distributed according to the individual's payment situation, which can be queried through multiple channels, including the e-service system, the counter or the ATM of designated banks. Physical ATM inquiries will open tomorrow, 4th. News highlights a 13-year-old junior high school student in Haobi District, Tainan, died suddenly on the 24th of last month, and a drug reaction was suspected in his body, and his family suspected that he was bullied and fed drugs. On the 3rd, the Tainan District Prosecutor's Office, together with the family, conducted an autopsy to clarify the cause of death, and emphasized that the appraisal report would be accelerated. The cause of death has yet to be confirmed, and the hospital has diagnosed spasms, suspected meningitis, or poisoning by toxic drugs. If the case involves a juvenile offense, the juvenile court will intervene. An autopsy report usually takes a month, and the prosecution has asked the forensic doctor to expedite the process. News highlights the proprietress of a hand-cranked beverage shop near Taipei Main Station was questioned by netizens and boycotted because she had made remarks such as Taiwan Province and Wutong on social platforms in the past. Not to be outdone, the proprietress frequently choked netizens, and even said that she refused to sell some customers, which led to the controversy heating up. In the face of public pressure, she recently posted again, emphasizing that she has been very restrained and will preserve evidence and reserve the right to file a complaint. She also accused netizens of malicious attacks, and some even vandalized the storefront to graffiti. After the incident fermented, the franchise brand cut off from it, and she claimed that she had already decided to withdraw from the franchise. The turmoil continued to burn, and netizens reacted polarly. News highlights the tired boss of Chi Snack e-commerce company was suspected of running away, and a large number of goods were photographed moving out of the warehouse late at night on February 26, and the official website announced internal adjustment the next day. Subsequently, the internet celebrity Pineapple alluded to its involvement in a money dispute, which sparked heated discussions. Late at night on March 2, the tired boss issued another announcement, still saying that he had made internal adjustments, but it was found that the goods were moved back, which made netizens question the self-directed and self-acting to win traffic. At present, the brand has not responded positively to the financial issues, and consumers continue to pay attention to the follow-up development. News highlights the well-known YouTuber Jumping Clothes recently released a new video, talking about the current situation of the industry with the dinner girl Nico, and broke the news that a well-known online beauty picked up customers privately, on the condition that the number of IG fans reached the standard, and there was a swallow tattoo on his body, with a price code of 8 to 120,000 yuan, which aroused heated discussions among netizens. Nico revealed that the market for the dinner ranges from 10,000 to 15,000, and some of the online beauty will indeed be taken away. After the film was exposed, many netizens frantically guessed the identity of the online beauty and discussed it constantly. News highlights FanWiki recently made a comeback in China to sing, but it was revealed that the concert was suspected of ticket locking. Some fans found that the low-priced tickets were sold out instantly, and they could only buy more expensive tickets, and they had to pay a 20% handling fee for refunds, which made fans shout it's expensive. Netizens also questioned the poor box office, and there may be a significant discount in the future, which has sparked heated discussions. News highlights Fumita Mino, the king of Japanese variety shows, died of illness on the 1st of this month at the age of 80. In the early morning of the 2nd, Fumita Mino's home was suspected to have been invaded by two men who tried to pry the window and steal. By the time police arrived, the suspect had fled and no injuries were caused. Police found the room on the first floor being turned over and were tracking the suspect. Fumita Mino used to be a cultural broadcaster, and in his heyday owned 16 programs with an annual income of 600 million yen. In recent years, he suffered from Parkinson's disease and diabetes, and finally passed away in a coma due to an accident. News highlights Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on the 2nd that although he still has not apologized to Trump, he is ready to sign a mineral agreement with the United States. At the end of his visit to the United Kingdom, he spoke to reporters about the dispute with Trump and stressed that the dispute would pass. Zelensky said he was not set up in the White House and stressed that the visit was to solve problems, not to try. Since the U.S. Ukraine talks broke down, he has not had any further communication with the White House. As for the details of the failure to sign the mineral agreement and the sudden departure from the White House, Zelensky said it would be better to leave the matter to history. News highlights: after dating Xia Yatong, who is 10 years younger, Sun Zizi announced today that he had registered his marriage and shared his joy on Facebook. He wrote, "From this day forward, the Children's Association is no longer just good friends," and revealed that he chose to register his marriage on March 3, symbolizing that no matter rain or shine, the two will walk hand in hand. He said that after forming a complete family with Xia Yatong and his dog Nini, he has become more responsible and patient, cherishing every moment. He thanked everyone for their concern and wished everyone a good life and everything was okay. News highlights: the SS estate has been distributed, including mansions and other real estate in Xinyi district, which Gu Junyi and the SS family inherited together, and part of the minor family members were represented by Wang Xiaofei. However, Wang Xiaofei's role may lead to future legal disputes, and SS mother once mentioned that she wanted to go to the battlefield and was dissatisfied with Wang Xiaofei's handling of it. Although Gu Junyi gave up his inheritance rights, SS mother has not publicly stated that the future inheritance and debt issues may be delayed. News highlights: Blackpink's Thai member Lisa became the first K-pop artist to perform at the 97th Academy Awards. She paid tribute to the classic movie 007 with Taha Cat and Ray, and Lisa sang the theme song of A Matter of Death, and handed the baton to Taha Cat after the wonderful performance, who sang the theme song of Diamond. The three artists each interpreted different 007 songs and won a full house. After flying solo, Lisa actively expanded into the European and American markets, and is expected to make her debut again as an actress in Hollywood. News highlights: the king of golden songs, Fang Datung, passed away on February 21, shocking all walks of life. The relationship between Fang Datung and the only rumored girlfriend Shui Kaiki has once again attracted attention. In the past, he always responded to the relationship between the two with "Don't Say" when interviewed, which echoed the lyrics of the song "Don't Love Me." He wrote for Shui Kaiki, "I don't say how much I love you," which makes people feel emotional. The two are like family members and support each other, but they always insist on being best friends. After Fang Datung's death, Shui Kaiki became emotional during the performance, and replaced the social media post with the cover of a children's book created by Fang Datung, suspected of remembering his friend. News highlights: Yang Xiaoyi and Bai Yun once attracted attention because of the sudden exposure of their relationship, and the two drifted apart after announcing their breakup and avoided sharing the stage. However, at Zhang Yangqi's spring wine dinner recently, Yang Xiaoyi took the initiative to toast to Bai Yun, and the two had a brief conversation to show an atmosphere of reconciliation. Bai Yun was cold to Yang Xiaoyi at that time and did not take the initiative to interact with her. The two have fallen out in the past over a sudden public confession of love, and this great reconciliation has surprised people and attracted attention from the outside world. News highlights: Wang Zuxian, a goddess-level figure in the 90s, became famous for the role of Nai Xiaoqian in the movie A Chinese Ghost Story, and still has a large number of fans. Although she has been out of action for many years and moved to Canada to concentrate on practicing Buddhism, she recently announced the opening of a health moxibustion studio and personally serves customers. A netizen shared his experience in the moxibustion hall, saying that Wang Zuxian personally did moxibustion for her, and described the process as comfortable and full of intimacy. Wang Zuxian revealed that the reason for opening the moxibustion studio is because he has benefited from moxibustion and wants to share this therapy with more people. News highlights: a cliff accident occurred in Jianxi Township, Hsinchu County on the evening of the 1st, when the couple surnamed Zhang was climbing the mountain in the Mandarin Duck Valley waterfall. The wife surnamed Wang accidentally slipped down the slope and fell into the valley about 80 meters deep. Seeing this, the husband panicked and called the fire station for help. When the search and rescue personnel arrived, they found that Wang's wife had no signs of life, and tried to rescue him, but was eventually declared dead. The cause of the accident is still pending police investigation. News highlights: music talent Fang Datung recently passed away, shocking fans. He is known for his fresh and healthy attitude to life, vegetarian, does not drink alcohol and has a light daily diet, but he has never been able to quit the bad habit of staying up late. Fang Datung was hospitalized for pneumothorax due to excessive staying up late, which led to mouth ulcers and health problems. Despite his poor health, he devoted himself to music. Fang Datung is 174 centimeters tall, his body is getting thinner and thinner, and he was already emaciated when he last appeared in public, and finally failed to recover and unfortunately passed away. News highlights: the limited edition prayer pacifier distributed by Mieli Tong Xiao Beishe in Mizzou every year attracted a large number of parents to queue up to receive it on the 2nd. From 9 a.m., the temple distributed 5,000 pacifiers, and some people began to line up at 2:30 a.m. for the baby. Mr. Tu and Mr. and Mrs. Qin became the first two people to receive the pacifier. Mr. Tu came to line up for his grandson, and Mr. and Mrs. Qin prayed for the twins to grow up healthy. The pacifier activity continues every year, and I hope that Mizzou's blessing will bless the baby's safety. News highlights: 59-year-old He Dulan recently appeared on the show to share his experience of planning his will in advance. He said that inspired by the sudden death of his friend Luo Peiying, he decided to find a lawyer to deal with the will matters to avoid regrets in the future. Ho stressed that life is impermanent, and planning well can make you feel at ease. He owns more than 5 properties, has attained financial freedom, and said that he is already preparing for retirement, and plans to experience life in different countries in the future to avoid losing his goals and becoming depressed. He also mentioned that he bought insurance to avoid the trouble of inheritance. News highlights at the ceremony marking the 78th anniversary of the 228 incident, Li King pointed out that the 228 incident stemmed from Chiang Kai-shek's crimes committed to ensure his rule over Taiwan after the defeat in the war on the mainland. Former legislator Tsai Zhengyuan and scholar Li Zhongxian countered that the 228 incident occurred in 1947 and had nothing to do with the defeat of the Kuomintang Communist Civil War in 1948, when Chiang Kai-shek was not facing collapse and had a limited response to the Taiwan riots. They questioned the inconsistency in the timing of last statement and stressed that historical facts should be taken seriously. News highlights the wave of layoffs in the U.S. tech industry continues, with Autodesk and HP laying off 9% and nearly 2,000 employees, respectively. Autodesk's CEO said the move is to move into high-potential areas such as artificial intelligence. Hewlett-Packard laid off employees in its 2022 organizational restructuring plan and stressed that the total number of employees will not be significantly reduced. The U.S. economy is also under pressure, with Atlanta's Fed Bank's GDP Now indicator showing that GDP is likely to shrink by 1.5% in the first quarter, indicating a slowdown in economic growth. News highlights at the 2025 Academy Awards at the Dolby Theater in Los Angeles. Enola won Best Picture and several major awards. Adrien Brody won Best Actor, and Maggie Madison became the second youngest Oscar actress in history. Other winners include Best Supporting Actor Kieran Culkin, Best Animated Feature Film Meow's Fantasy Drifting and Best Original Song El Mal from Bright Woman's Dream. News highlights Lisa, a Thai member of South Korean girl group Blackpink, became the first K-pop star to perform at the Oscars in 2025 by singing their new song Born Again. She wore a long gown embroidered with black lace to show off her figure and slender legs, with a high slit designed to create a mysterious and gorgeous visual effect. Lisa's look blends vintage elegance with a modern sensibility, enhanced with dark eyeliner and red lips. News highlights the 97th Academy Awards was held at the Dolby Theater in Hollywood, Los Angeles on the 3rd, with Conor O'Brien as the host. At the beginning, he paid a humorous tribute to the movie Fear of Cracks, and joked about the stars in the audience one after another, and even mentioned the word FXXXK that appears 479 times in the movie Enola. In a hilarious scene, comedian Adam Sandler attends the ceremony wearing a hat and pretending to be angry and shouting, "No one cared about me, but now everyone sees it." The audience burst into laughter. News highlights 245 kilometers northbound from Line 61 of Kaohsiung Township, Yunlin County, a small truck crashed into a car on the afternoon of the 2nd, and the passenger in the passenger seat failed to escape and burned to death on the spot. The driver was suspected of escaping first, leaving the passenger behind and leaving the scene. After the police investigation, it was found that the driver, a Vietnamese man, was stranded in Taiwan after overstaying, and was returning to Yunlin from Tainan when the car accident occurred. The driver has been arrested by the police, and the case is under further investigation, and is being handled on suspicion of negligence death, abandonment causing death, hit and run and other crimes. News highlights at about 7 o'clock in the morning on the 2nd, a car accident occurred at 7.9 km eastbound on the Taiwan 86 Expressway, and the black McLaren 720s chased and collided with the red Ferrari SF90, causing damage to the front of the Ferrari. Fortunately, the alcohol test value of both drivers was 0 and no one was injured. The two drivers are car enthusiasts and plan to go to the Tainan Auto Show. Witnesses at the scene described the incident as a showdown between two houses and caused heated discussions on the internet. Police are investigating. News highlights after Da-S passed away on the 2nd, the matter of estate and family custody has been dealt with. According to the law, the estate will be inherited by the spouse Gu Junyi and the family of Da-S, but due to the reasons of the minor children, Wang Xiaofei will act as the guardian of the children until the age of 18. Wang Xiaofei previously owed Da-S a debt of more than NT $250 million, and was exposed to have a line worth about NT $450,000 with his current wife Ma Xiaomei. Wang Xiaofei recently appeared in Taiwan with his wife and daughter, and wore luxury brand clothes at the airport, which attracted attention. News highlights in 2024, the performance of the new labor retirement fund will be excellent, with an income of nearly 700 billion yuan, a record high, and a yield of 16.16%. About 12.92 million workers participated in the distribution, with an average of about 54,100 yuan per person, of which 4.67 million households received more than 50,000 yuan, accounting for 36.2%. The Labor Insurance Bureau has completed the distribution of income, and workers can inquire through multiple channels, and from the 4th, they can use their labor security cards or postal financial cards to inquire at ATMs. News highlights Taichung Bank, 2812, announced its dividend policy for 2024, with a dividend of 1.12 yuan per share, a record high, an increase of more than 16% over last year. The cash dividend was 39 cents per share, and the stock dividend was 73 cents per share, representing a cash yield of approximately 2%. The net profit after tax for the year was 8.291 billion yuan, an increase of 21.5% year-on-year. EPS reached 1.50 yuan, and the dividend distribution ratio reached 74.6%. The stock price rose more than 4% on the day, once touching 20 yuan, and other bank stocks such as Federal Bank and Far Eastern Bank also rose. News highlights: this year's financial market turmoil has driven bond ETFs to buy gas as funds flow to safe havens. According to Money data, the scale of bond ETFs issued by Cititrust exceeded 3.21 trillion yuan in February, an increase of 143.757 billion yuan. CUNY ESG Investment Bond 20+, 00937B, and CUNY Preferred Non-Investment Bond, 00953B, are the two products with the largest increase in scale. CUNY ESG Investment and other bonds 20+ benefited from the interest rate cut environment and attracted stable capital inflows. CUNY Preferred Non-Investment Bonds have become a favored choice for investors due to their high interest rates and low duration, and are expected to pay interest on March 6. News highlights: Yongfeng Financial Holding, 2890, held an extraordinary shareholders meeting on the 3rd to discuss the acquisition of 100% of the shares of Jingcheng Bank by way of share conversion. Shareholders expressed their gratitude for the operating results of Yongfeng Gold, and Chairman Chen Siquan received his compliments. Sinopac plans to exchange 1.15 shares of Evergreen Gold for each ordinary share of Jingcheng Bank and RMB 26.75 in cash, with a total transaction price of approximately RMB 59.9 billion, representing a premium of 8.8%. After the merger, Sinopac will upgrade its asset ranking to 12th and expand its SME lending business, which is expected to be completed in the 4th quarter of 2025. News highlights: former President Chen Shui-bian warned on a talk show that the recall could bring recoil, triggering an interpretation by Kuomintang legislator Wang Hongwei as targeting Li Qiangde. However, Chen Shui-bian then released a photo with UMC founder CAO Xing Cheng, which sparked discussion from all walks of life. Former legislator Shen Fuxiong questioned Chen Shui-bian's vacillating stance, pointing out that he had expressed 3 different positions on the issue of the general recall, saying that Chen Shui-bian was actually very shrewd and not stupid. News highlights: Kuomintang legislator Wang Xiaoling recently broke the news that UMC founder CAO Xing Cheng is a habitual offender of fake donations, saying that CAO promised to donate 15 million yuan to Tsinghua University 30 years ago, but has not received it so far. CAO Xing Cheng then retorted, explaining that when he played Go with Shen Zhenshan, the president of Tsinghua University, he promised to donate, but did not make a specific donation. Huang Shixiu, the founder of Nuclear Mythbuster, questioned CAO's claim and listed 6 versions of the donation account, eventually stating that CAO Xing Cheng denied the donation and planned to file a lawsuit against the relevant personnel. News highlights: a man surnamed Chen in Zushan, Nantou, has abused ambulance resources, calling nearly 100 calls to 119 since April last year, an average of 2 to 3 times a week. Every time he was drunk or in a bad mood, he made excuses to call an ambulance, but when he arrived, he often refused to seek medical attention, leaving the firefighters exhausted. Since Nantou County does not have an ambulance charging standard, this kind of abuse cannot be punished, and the firefighters hope that the relevant units can intervene to avoid wasting resources and affecting other cases in urgent need of rescue. News highlights: the Chinese team successfully qualified for the 2026 World Baseball Classic, but after the game, news of illegal use of electronic devices broke out. According to a post on social media, it was pointed out that Chinese professional baseball personnel were caught using mobile phones during the qualifying tournament and were fined $20,000, about NT $658,000, by the conference. The middle job confirmed the incident, saying that there were indeed colleagues who used mobile phones in the office in violation of the law, and had promised to pay fines, and would strengthen relevant education to prevent similar incidents from happening again. News highlights: after a man surnamed Chen in Nantou scratched a 1,500 yuan scratch lottery, he shared the joy of the lottery photo without mosaic barcode PO network, but found that the prize had been stolen the next day. It turned out to be an employee of a lottery shop who used the barcode on the photo to scan the code to claim the prize. The store later apologized and returned the winnings, but this could be a theft offense and the lottery shop's license could be revoked. Experts recommend that when posting a photo of a winning ticket, you should cover the barcode or fill in your personal information, and the safest thing is to share it after claiming your prize. News highlights: when Kuomintang legislator Fu Kunking held a political briefing in Hualien City, he was publicly accused of gangsterism by Ye Chunlian, an 80-year-old retired teacher, and was taken away from the scene by the staff. Fu Kunking immediately alluded to Ye as the flank of the Democratic Progressive Party, triggering public opinion discussion. Media personality Huang Vihan posted on Facebook that Fu should invite Ye Chunlian to the stage and publicly respond to her questions, which would change the angle of the news and possibly get a positive response. He stressed that legislators should respond rationally in the face of protests to give extra points. News highlights tattoo artist Yu Bo accused his nanny of abusing his 11-month-old daughter to death, and the case was reversed after an investigation, and the prosecution found that the baby girl had suffered from a side effect of inhaling poisoning smoke from Yan Bo's family, resulting in a heavy fall to her death. The nanny was wronged, but she was physically and mentally injured by the bullying of public opinion and could no longer work as a nanny. The court ordered Yu Bo to pay 27,000 yuan in compensation, and the pineapple and the hook evil were exempted, and the nanny's husband sighed at the verdict and considered whether to appeal. News highlights the boss of the online snack merchant has recently suspended business due to internal adjustments, and it has been rumored that the manufacturer has moved goods to pay off debts, which has attracted attention. The tired boss emphasized that the orders will be shipped as usual, and Kei Niang also issued a statement saying that the pressure of starting a business is huge, and she not only supports her husband, but also assumes business and family responsibilities. She emphasized that despite the constant doubts from the outside world, she will still fight side by side with her husband to protect the company and her dreams. News highlights Wang Zhaoxiang, chairman of Jianan University of Pharmacology, passed away on February 27 at the age of 84. He has served as the president for 35 years, setting a record for the longest tenure in the country, cultivating countless pharmaceutical talents, and is known as the cradle of pharmacists. Wang Zhaoxiang inherited his father's ambition and devoted himself to education, and Jie Yao's evaluation results over the years have been excellent and far-reaching. The school issued a message of condolence, with the heaviest sorrow, I remember this great philosopher of education. News highlights a 13-year-old junior high school student in Tainan died suddenly at the end of February, and his mother grieved and posted an accusation that her son was suspected of being bullied and forced to be fed poisoned coffee pods, and doctors tested that there was a drug poisoning reaction in his body. The prosecution examined the body today and preliminarily determined that there were no suspicious external injuries, and collected hair, blood, and body tissues for examination to further determine the cause of death. Investigation is ongoing. News highlights the weather in Taiwan has changed drastically since today, 3rd, and weather anchor Wang Shulai reminded that the whole Taiwan will usher in 4 seasons of the week weather changes. Today's daytime is as hot as summer, with a high temperature of 30 degrees in the north and 32 degrees in the central and southern regions. In the evening, the front moved southward, and the rain increased, and the day after tomorrow turned to thunder showers and cooled down, and the temperature dropped day by day. On Thursday and Friday, under the influence of the cold air mass, the low temperature in the north dropped to 12 degrees, and the body felt wet and cold like winter. Rains eased over the weekend and temperatures warmed up, but there was still rain in the north, with autumn-like weather. Remind the public to pay attention to the temperature change and add clothes in time to prevent cold. News highlights at about 8 o'clock this morning, the drowning case of the Love River in Kaohsiung City was shocked, and the public found that there was a man carrying a floating load on the river, and immediately reported the case. After the police arrived at the scene, they dispatched rubber boats to retrieve the man ashore, but he was obviously dead. News highlights American film and song amphibious actress Angie Stone died in a car accident in the early morning of the 1st at the age of 63. She was on her way to Baltimore after a performance in Alabama when she was killed in an accident on Interstate 65, injuring 8 of her peers. In 1979, he debuted with the sequence, and his masterpiece Funk You Up had a profound impact. After flying solo, his first album Black Diamond was certified as a gold record, and he participated in movies such as Mrs. So Hot. The bad news shocked fans. News highlights a woman in Taichung disappeared from home 20 years ago because her love was blocked, and her family reported to the police to no avail, and applied to the court to declare her dead last year. After investigating the relevant records, the court made a formal decision to declare her dead on April 20, 2012, after the expiration of the public notice period. News highlights the tired boss, known as the Costco in the snack industry, reported that the business was not doing well and the trucks were moving goods overnight, and the internet celebrity Pineapple gave an ultimatum to demand the settlement of the payment. The tired boss issued a clarification late at night on the 2nd, saying that the store is temporarily closed, but the orders are shipped normally, and fans are looking forward to the return of the live broadcast. However, after the statement was released, a video of the warehouse purchase was leaked out of the internet, causing netizens to question that the matter was self-directed and self-acted, thinking that it might be to create a topic and brush traffic. News highlights UMC founder CAO Xing Cheng was recently questioned for failing to fulfill his promise to donate 15 million yuan to Tsinghua University 30 years ago, and repeated his rhetoric, accusing Tsinghua University of becoming a nest of united front work against Taiwan. Kuomintang legislator Wang Xiaoling criticized CAO Xing Cheng for imitating the DPP's methods and smearing Qingda, and accused him of corrupt personality and bankrupt credit, and called on the judicial organs to investigate CAO Xing Cheng's slander and illegal acts, stressing that they should be dealt with in accordance with the law. News highlights at the European Leaders Summit in London, leaders decided to increase funding to ensure Ukraine's security. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has set out two major conditions for a ceasefire: strong security guarantees, and a ceasefire that should begin with the exchange of prisoners of war and the return of Ukrainian children. During the meeting, European leaders agreed that NATO mechanisms and the strengthening of the capabilities of the Ukrainian army could be part of security guarantees, and saw this as a key step in Russia's true pursuit of peace. News highlights: on suspicion of corruption, Wu Kunjin, director of the Taichung City Land Bureau, was searched by the Taichung City District Prosecutor's Office and his home and paid 1 million yuan on bail on suspicion of corruption. Today, 3rd, the Taichung City government said that Wu Kunjin has resigned and been approved, and the city government will fully cooperate with the investigation and emphasize that it will never protect its shortcomings. Wu Kunjin is suspected of being involved in the improper use of special fees, and the case is still under investigation. News highlights: on suspicion of corruption, Wu Kunjin, director of the Taichung City Land Bureau, was searched by the Taichung City District Prosecutor's Office and his home and paid 1 million yuan on bail on suspicion of corruption. Today, 3rd, the Taichung City government said that Wu Kunjin has resigned and been approved, and the city government will fully cooperate with the investigation and emphasize that it will never protect its shortcomings. Wu Kunjin is suspected of being involved in the improper use of special fees, and the case is still under investigation. News highlights: on the evening of the 2nd, a small truck crashed into a fire accident on Line 61 of Tai, Cao Township, Yunlin County. Driving a Vietnamese man, Aka, was driving through the area and crashed into a guardrail and caught fire. The vehicle burned completely and the passenger in the passenger seat was unfortunately killed. The police arrested him after following the accident and charged him with negligent death, abandonment causing death and hit and run. The cause of the accident is still under investigation. News highlights: Fang Datung, a 41-year-old music talent, died suddenly on February 21 due to a suspected pneumothorax, and the news shocked the music world. He has been a vegetarian for a long time and pays attention to health, but due to overwork and staying up late to work, he has health problems. Fang Datung has been hospitalized for pneumothorax many times, and frankly admits that he has too high requirements for himself, causing his body to become weaker and weaker. Although he faced his illness positively, he eventually passed away due to his illness. His musical works and creations will remain forever in the world and become immortal spiritual treasures.